Hey guys, it's Archon. So like most people playing Reaper of Souls right now, we've been busy on my stream trying to find the most efficient way to farm gear. And Paragon, but mostly gear. I think that's what most of us care about right now. And the thing we found more than anything else is that we're really incentivized to play on the lower difficulties right now, especially in bounties. Now there was a recent hotfix which increased the drop rate of Torment 1 through 6, and it did seem to help a little bit, although if you go to the forums it didn't help at all. Most players will tell you the drop rate is lower now than it was before. The problem is the game's been out for less than a week now, so who really knows? No one's done enough testing to know what the drop rate was before, and no one's done enough testing to know what it is now, and so we can't really say for sure how much it changed. I think the only thing we can say for sure is it didn't change a lot. It's pretty obvious that the drop rate didn't double or triple. Maybe it went up by 20%. Who knows? It's just too early to really say how much it went up by, but I think we can take their word for it. If they say they increased it, they probably actually increased it. We just don't know by how much. But it still seems like, at least for bounties, normal is the best way to play right now. And that really sucks, because it's not fun to play on normal. Everything just dies super fast. Now, of course, the reason that it's worth to play normal, at least for bounties, is because they give you a cache when you complete all 5 acts, and those cache have a decent chance, probably between 5 and 10%, of giving you a legendary. And it looks like Magic Find also helps that drop chance. So what people are doing right now, of course, is split farming bounties. You get 4 people in a game, you all split up and do your own bounties, usually clearing acts 1 through 4. Some people do Act 5, but it tends to be really long. And then you get all the caches. So one game, 4 caches. And if you go fast, you can do that whole thing in 10 to 20 minutes. That's a cache every 3 to 5 minutes or so. And you can get legendaries pretty quickly that way, usually faster than you can from doing rifts. Now, we tested out doing bounties on Torment 1 because we figured, well, if all the drop rates are increasing when you go up difficulties, then Torment 1 caches should give us legendaries more often, but it doesn't look like it at all. In fact, we got less legendaries when we did Torment 1. I'm pretty sure that's a fluke. I'm guessing that the drop chance is about the same. We opened over 100 caches each time, which of course is still a really small sample, not nearly enough to draw any conclusions from, but if it was significantly higher, I think we would have been able to notice, and it looks like it's about the same. Talking to other players, they feel like it's about the same, so it doesn't really make sense to do bounties on anything but normal right now. It seems like from the devs' point of view, you might want to do bounties on Torment 1 because you'll get more legendaries while you're farming. But it doesn't really make sense because if you increase difficulties while you're doing rifts, then all the drops increase. So right now, when you increase your difficulty on bounties, you're getting a smaller reward than increasing difficulty on rifts. Now, in playing rifts, we have been doing Torment 1, maybe even Torment 2, just because we try to play on the difficulty where we can kill mobs almost immediately, and that seems to be the most efficient way to play. So I think what we really need is better caches in the Torment difficulties. I think as we get more gear, the higher Torments will become more worth it. Once you can one-shot mobs in Torment 2 or Torment 3, you might as well move up difficulties. Right now, it looks like most players are either doing caches on normal or rifts on Torment 1. And that's what I would suggest for anyone who's looking for the most efficient way to farm. We've been doing mostly rifts on Torment 1 or 2 because it's just a lot more fun than playing on normal. It also seems like a better way to get Paragon and Blood Shards. However, normal bounties still seem the best way to get legendaries. Now, it's also important to point out that each cache from bounties can only drop certain legendaries, and it's actually a pretty short list. There's a link to that list in the description. Each act has its own list of anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7 legendaries, I think, and only those legendaries can drop from a cache that came from that act. So in the long term, this might not be an issue at all. You're probably just going to find the legendaries you want, farm that act for the cache, and once you get a good roll on it, you won't really need to do bounties anymore. We might only be doing bounties to get the rift fragments to do rifts. There's also a myth that if you take a cache that dropped in normal and take it to Torment 6, you're going to get better loot. There doesn't seem to be any validity to that at all. However, you do get better gems, which cannot possibly be intended. It doesn't matter where you farm your cache. If you open them on Torment 1 through 6, you have a chance to get Imperial gems, and if you open them on a lower difficulty, you only get Marquise. So I can't imagine why they would want it that way. I'm sure it was a mistake, but for now, you might as well take your caches to Torment. We just go to Torment 6 for the hell of it. It doesn't look like you're getting any better loot, but you have a chance of getting Imperial gems. And the hotfix, of course, increased the legendary drop chance from Blood Shards as well. I spent about 1,500 Blood Shards after the hotfix before I got my first legendary, but I'd spent a few thousand before the hotfix and never got one. Of course, that's a very small sample, so that's completely inconclusive, but talking to players, it does seem like we're getting more legendaries from blood shards now, and it seems like you get blood shards a lot faster doing rifts. So Torment 1 rifts might be the way to go right now. I just really hope they increase the drop chance of legendaries in caches from higher difficulties so we can stop doing normal bounties, because they're so annoying. But, you know, if you want to get legendaries, do them. If you're wondering which act you should be running bounties on, Act 5 seems to suck, like I said. Act 4 usually seems to be the best. The Diablo fight's pretty long. All the other bounties in Act 4 are really short. Act 3, I would say, is usually the second best. However, the Foundry is pretty long, and the Barracks is horrible. I believe that's the name of it. The barracks, there's 2 areas where you have to get to the second area and clear it, and those take forever. If those aren't in there, Act 3 is really fast. Act 2 can be good, but the Dolgar Oasis and Desolate Sands are pretty long, and the Belial fight takes a little bit of time. Act 1's usually alright, but Fields of Misery, especially if you get Khazra-den, takes forever. And Queen Arene, if you have to go through that, I can't remember the name of it, but the spider lair, it can take forever to find where you're going. But usually we find order 4 is the best, then 3, 1, 2, 5, depends on the bounties. But what most people are doing, again, is getting 4 people in a game, splitting up, each person takes an act, or you just take turns doing bounties. You do them all on your own, and you get the caches. It's not fun at all, and it's the best way to farm right now. So hopefully that changes. I just wanted to put this rant out there, give my opinion, and let you guys know what we've found. But it looks like lower difficulties are the way to go. If you're going to do rifts, just get to the highest difficulty where you can kill enemies almost immediately. Plowing through enemies is really the way to go right now, and hopefully that's changed, because I want to get in some harder difficulties. I want it to be worth it to give myself a challenge. So we'll see how that changes, and maybe the game will just naturally evolve, or maybe we need an actual fix. But I'd love to hear your guys' opinion as well. Talking with you guys on the live stream and in the comments is the reason I'm able to stay so informed. I do some of my own research, but you guys really help me, telling me your experiences and what you found. So please leave them below in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, and I'll have another one for you soon. If you're wondering which